Another really standard question is one where I want you to play around with a couple points and get either some slopes or some different things like that. So let's look through this. What's a gradient? Where gradient is slope, and you get the formula if you don't know it. It's right there, in case you don't remember what it was, but it's in your formula booklet. So if we go back here to the problem, let's make these x1, y1, and these x2, y2. So let's go for letter A. Negative 3.5 minus 0.5 over 9 minus negative 3. I'll put that right in the calculator. 3.5 minus 0.5 over 9 minus negative 3. It's going to give me that. Now, that's obviously not a slope that I want. I can turn that back into a fraction by going math, and then that first thing is going to give me a fraction. Negative 1/3. So there's my gradient. B says determine the equation of L2, which is parallel. So parallel means the same slope. So that means we're going to use that 1/3 slope and passes through this point. Now, if you do this the way that I normally do it, you need to know this formula, which is not on your formula sheet. It's called the point slope or the point gradient formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. It makes all the equations 1,000 times easier to deal with. So I'm going to plug in the slope into the m, and then this is going to be x1 and y1. So I'm going to plug those in. So I'm going to end up with y minus 1 negative 1/3 times x minus 3. Now it wants it in this form, which means get everything on one side. So I have to do some distributions here. It says integers, so I'm not supposed to have any fractions at the end, so we'll deal with that too. So it's going to be y minus 1 equals negative 1/3 x plus 1. Use a calculator to distribute that if you're not sure how to do it. Everything needs to go to the same side. So I'm going to move, I'll use to try to keep the x positive, so I'll move this over here. Plus 1/3 minus 1 plus 1/3 x minus 1. And going to be 1/3 x plus y minus 2 equals 0. To get rid of this, whatever number's in the bottom of the fraction, multiply the whole thing by it, distribute it. And give me x plus 3y minus 6 equals 0. So that's going to give me that. And then it says find the coordinates of the x-intercept. You could put this in your calculator real easy and get it. If you don't want to put it in your calculator, you're looking for where it crosses the x-axis. That means y value is going to be equal to 0. All right, so if I put that on my calculator, I've obviously got to have it equal to y instead of what I've got going on right here. Actually, now I notice this here, I've got, should be 3y. I'm just going to plug a 0 in for y. So for part C, I'm going to do x plus 3 times 0 minus 6 equals 0, which is going to give me x minus 6 equals 0 plus 6 plus 6. X equals 6, which means I'm looking at 6, 0. All right, every x-intercept, the y value has to be 0 for that.